Another week is here. Conference week is here as well, and it's time for the Sean Kiracofe Show. Coach, how we doing?
Great.
Great. Before we talk about Southeastern this weekend, got to get your thoughts on this past weekend. We talked about last time how getting in some pressure situations, some tense moments, some key moments in matches were something, and we've talked about before, that you want to build this team around and get them experienced in. I don't know if we maybe expected as many over the weekend as we got with Tennessee State and UTA, but just talk about those two matches in particular and those tense moments that didn't always go our way, but certainly we had a lot of experience in throughout the weekend.
Definitely. And I'd even add Prairie View to that, honestly. I mean, there were moments within sets early on that that we had to earn points and kind of create the situations to be able to pull away from those sets. So, I mean, we found it in a bunch of different ways. A ton of tight situations. Those first two sets against Tennessee State were great. Maybe didn't feel like it in the end because it didn't work out our way. But I mean, those are the situations that you have to find yourself in to be able to start to feel some level of comfort to be able to go, okay, this next point matters. And we talked about it, with the team afterwards. Those are situations you'll find yourself in during conference to where, you play up until, 21, 22, 23 points. And the entire set comes down to, okay, where are you going to serve the ball? How are you going to defend who you know is going to get it, their best player? And then what are you going to do turning it around to be able to turn that into a point if you do your job defensively? You're going to find yourself, like I said, in those situations in conference over and over and over again where it really boils down to 2 to 3 points. And how you execute in those moments. In Tennessee State, obviously, they did what they needed to do. Sometimes we did, and sometimes we didn't. That's why they pulled away in the sets. And then UTA was a great back and forth. I mean, I knew from the schedule when they sent it out that we were, the Saturday night game, that I was happy about that, specifically leading into conference coming up, because it was going to feel more like a conference game. They had a good crowd there. The production level was good. And then that battle, and they were a big athletic team that had a lot of talent across the net, that got to us early, and then we were able to find adjustments and then just really grind out points and figure out a way to win, which I was really happy about. And of course, you always want it to end up in a win and have the happy ending, but those moments matter for the development of a team.
Those big moments, those big plays, a lot of them came in that UTA match, and some big performances as well. I don't even know where to start with that match, but overall on the weekend, Bree Burrell really stood out. She tied a career high against Prairie View, set a new career high in kills against UTA, and just really had a phenomenal week. But certainly that weekend was really big for her. Just in general for her. Yeah,
I mean, she absolutely has been blowing it up recently. I mean, it's really been impressive. You go back to last season in the spring where there was, I said it many times, there was a lot of lessons to be learned, and in some cases very harsh lessons and very difficult experience earned, but it's paying off now. And she's been able to go out there and just, get on fire offensively, and it's been great to see because we knew that that's what she had the potential of doing. But the position itself, the outside position in women's volleyball and men's, honestly, you're just going to be put in situations that are very difficult, and you have to do something good with the ball. It's not always gonna be easy, and now she's figuring out ways. Well, obviously she's been unbelievably impressive when things are going her way, or she has the advantage, or there's a single block. But now she's handling those balls that are difficult, and maybe not scoring every single time because you don't have to do that, but putting ourselves in positions to be able to get that ball back in a good way and be able to turn it into points, or just flat out, you know what, I need to score in this moment, and she does. So, I mean, it's great to watch.
Yeah, those middle 2 matches against Prairie View and Tennessee State, 2 errors in 2 matches. She had 19 kills against UTA with I think she scored 7 straight at one point for us in that 4th set. Just stepping up time and time, which I know is exciting going into this weekend.
What's funny is there's a few errors that we'll see in the last 2 weeks that that we saw last spring. And we're like, Bree, we've talked about that's the error that you can't make. You need to do this, and we've talked about that. And then after the match, we look at the box score, and she's had 1 error the whole match. And so it's like, why were we stressing that 1 error to her in the moment when you look at it at the end? It's just she had a phenomenal offensive match. Yeah. It's just perspective, which is funny.
Right. And then a couple more thoughts before we talk about Southeastern, maybe not boiled over, but came to a head over the weekend as well. The play of Piper. She had 51 assists in that match against UTA, and then you talk about her just since she's come into that setting position, and then Simone with 30 digs against UTA as well. The defense that she provides alongside Haley that really solidifies the back line when she's in the back row, certainly.
Yeah, Piper's been great lately and is just a really good volleyball player. Good sense for the game, has the ability for us to be able to give her corrections in the moment, and she immediately implements those, and has just been really solid for us, and just something that we can kind of count on right now. And then, Simone. Simone's been great offensively. She's been improving, every single set, if not just the match, just defensively and ball control wise. To get 30 digs, is huge. That's just something that usually does not happen unless you're a libero, because they just have more opportunities. So, that was a huge defensive night for her to add to what all that she was doing offensively as well. A great run for her as well.
So moving into this weekend, it's kind of cliche to ask, but I feel like I need to. First conference match, and just the importance of getting off to a good start, and maybe even comparing it to how things played out last year, wanting to prove it. It's been sort of the deal, right. The theme of this team so far, and when we play 11 conference matches like we did last year, pretty much the entire schedule, this is the point now where you want the girls to come out and #prove it.
Right. It is a big night. It was a very short turnaround from the spring to now, so all of those good and bad moments are pretty fresh in your mind. So it does matter, and everything just as new of a group that we have, maybe not necessarily new faces, but in new positions on the court. We're still kind of learning and progressing, but it all starts to matter now, and all those lessons that we learned over the last couple weeks start to matter now. So I'm looking forward to it. Sorry,
we had a special guest with the fly. Yeah. So talk a little bit about Southeastern. They sort of like us. They have a outside that's kind of on a hot streak as well. Just the dynamic of 2 players that are kind of playing really well offensively, kind of going head to head in the first conference match.
Yeah, Southeastern is interesting. They're a very good 1-10 team, which is funny to say, but they have found themselves with a new roster than what they expected at the end of the last spring season. So they've got some freshmen in there that are playing some roles that they probably didn't expect at this moment. But they've taken that 4 weeks, and while it was a little bit rough of a start, they've really started to get on a roll. They've been in their last 4 matches have been 5-set matches, and they lost the first 3 that were close, and then won one on Tuesday against Southern Miss. And then the freshman that you're talking about, that outside Hidalgo, is just, she's on fire. She gives them the ball. They give her the ball, and she's scoring a ton. They got a good right side, a good middle. The freshman setter is starting to settle down and kind of figure out, how to be able to put those attackers in positions to be able to score. So, I mean, while it doesn't show on the record, I mean, they've been starting to figure things out, and it's been starting to work for them. And so it's going to be a tough matchup for us.
So for us, what is the key 2-3 things that you think will be the biggest factors in the match?
Serve receive passing. And if we can control the ball and run the offense that we want to, we're going to be successful. And what makes that very interesting is that Southeastern is a very good serving team. They're extremely aggressive and tough. So there's going to be a lot of rotations to where it's us against the server. And if we can control that ball and do something good with it and have some options, we're going to be in a good place. But if we turn it into something where we give them an easy ball, they're going to have the ability to score back on us in transition. So that's going to make it a long night if that's the case, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth because of that. And while I think that we have the potential of being a very good passing team and serve receive, there's been times or in specific rotations to where we've gotten stuck, and it's just a matter of getting through that.
Well, it was a very entertaining match here last year. Expecting similar things on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Thanks a lot, Coach. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thank you.